Hello students, welcome to Greater Chennai Corporation YouTube channel. Happy to meet you all. In this video, we are going to see a poem from Unit 5 titled A Father to His Son, written by Carl August Sandburg. Carl August Sandburg, he is an American poet, writer and an editor. He won 3 Pulitzer Prizes. 2 for his poetry and 1 for his biography of Abraham Lincoln. Some of his famous collections are Chicago Poems, Smoke and Steel, Corn Huskers. This poem is a kind of verse of worldly wisdom given by a father to his son. Here an experienced father wishes his son to lead a good life. A father sees his son nearing manhood. What shall he tell that son? Life is hard, be still, be a rock. And this might stand him for the storms and serve him for humdrum monotony. A father tells his son who is reaching manhood, life is hard. He expects his son to be strong like a steel and rock so that he can face the problems and challenges in his life. See the line, third line, life is hard, be still, be a rock. The poet indirectly compares life to a steel and rock. The figure of speech used in this line is metaphor. And this might stand him for the storms. If his son is strong and brave, he can face any challenges in his life and serve him for humdrum monotony. If his son's life is full of challenges and he faces everything bravely means, then his life will not be a boring routine. Humdrum monotony, it means a boring routine. And guide him among sudden betrayals and tighten him for slack moments. Life is a soft loam. Be gentle, go easy. And this too might serve him. Brutes have been gentle where lashes failed. If the son is strong, if he is strong, then that mental strength can overcome his son to face the betrayals of the people around him. Betrayal means துரோகம். If that son is mentally strong, அவன் மென்டலா ரொம்ப ஸ்ட்ராங்கா இருந்தா தன்னை சுத்தி இருக்கிறவங்க பண்ணக்கூடிய துரோகத்தை எல்லாம் ஈஸியா ஹேண்டில் பண்ணிடுவான் அப்படின்னு போயட் சொல்றாரு. And tighten him for slack moments and to overcome his lazy days or lazy times. Whenever he feels down, if he is mentally strong, he can overcome all those things. Life is a soft loam. See this third line. Again the poet compares life to a fertile soil. Soft loam, it means fertile soil. Fertile soil அப்படின்னா ஒரு வளமான நிலம், வாழ்க்கைய ஒரு வளமான நிலத்தோடு ஒப்பிடுறாரு poet. Be gentle, go easy. The father advises his son to be gentle in the life and take everything as an easy one. And this too might serve him. Brutes have been gentle where lashes failed. All the times toughness will not win. Sometimes, at times, gentleness overcome harshness. So tough is not a matter. Gentleness can also help the person to achieve a thing, right? Then soft loam, it means fertile soil, and brutes, it means violent people. And next one, lashes. Lashes means whips. The growth of a frail flower in a path has sometimes shattered and split a rock. A tough will counts. So does desire. So does the rich soft wanting. Without rich wanting nothing arrives. The growth of a frail flower. Frail flower, it means a weak flower. You can see sometimes on a rock even a small flower can grow and it split the rock. So a tough will counts. So the determination of a person is important. To have a tough will is important in a person's life. If a person wants to lead a happy life means he should earn enough money so that he can lead a happy and contented life, right? The meaning for the hard words: scattered, broken, split, it means break. Tell him too much money has killed men and left them dead years before burial. The quest of Luke beyond a few easy needs has twisted good enough men, sometimes in dry thwarted worms. Quest of Luke, it means money gained in a dishonorable way. Then thwarted, it means frustrated. The father says to his son that too much money, that is the greed for money, killed so many men before they really die. So the money should be earned in a proper way. Money should not be gained in a dishonorable way. It will kill a person. It will not give a happy life for that person. So many good men tried to earn money through few easy needs. They got frustrated and at last they gained nothing in their lives. The father advises his son not to be greed for money. Money should be earned in a proper way. That is the advice given by father in this stanza, right? Tell him time as a stuff can be wasted. Tell him to be a fool ever so often and to have no shame over having been a fool, yet learning out of every folly, hoping to repeat none of the cheap follies. Tell him time can be wasted. The father says to his son, time can be wasted for taking leisure. Tell him to be a fool ever so often. His son need not to be worried for being a fool, because the world contains number of fools. So every time when he commits mistakes, he learns something from it. So he need not to be feel ashamed for being a fool, and to have no shame over having been a fool, yet learning out of every folly. Folly means mistakes. Each and every mistakes he should learn a lesson from it, and he should not repeat none of the mistakes again in his life. So that is the lesson he learned from every mistakes. Then next stanza. Thus arriving at intimate understanding of a world numbering many fools, tell him to be alone often and get at himself, and above all tell him no lies about himself. Whatever the white lies and protective forms, meaning for the hard words, intimate, it means familiar, white lies, lies told to avoid hurting one's feelings, thus arriving at intimate understanding. His son come to a deep understanding that this world contains number of fools, so he need not to be worried of being fooled at sometimes, right? Tell him to be alone. He advises his son to be alone at times, because loneliness helps his son to analyze about himself. It will make him creative. So he advises him to be alone often, and above all tell himself no lies about himself. The another advice given by father is his son should not tell any lies to protect himself against others. பொய் சொல்லாம இருக்கணும் தன்னை காப்பாத்தி கொள்றதுக்காக அப்படினு சொல்றாரு. So that is called as white lies, in order to protect himself against others. தன்னை காத்து கொள்றதுக்காக தன்னுடைய நலனுக்காக சொல்லப்படுற பொய் அத white lies னு சொல்றாரு. That also should be avoided. Okay, then next stanza. He may use against other people. Tell him solitude is creative if he is strong, and the final decisions are made in silent rooms. Tell him to be different from other people if it comes natural and easy being different. Tell him solitude. Solitude means loneliness. He advises his son often to have a lonely time, and he says it is creative. It will induce the creativity of his son. If he is strong, that loneliness cannot affect his son. Okay, then next line. And the final decisions are made in silent room. Often and almost all the times the final decisions are made only in the silent rooms, so that he advises his son to have a lazy time, lazy days, loneliness, like that. Okay, Tell him to be different from other people. He expects his son to be different from other people. He should not follow the all others. He should be different, think different and act different. If it comes natural and easy being different, it should come in a natural manner. For that he needs lonely time, right? Then solitude means loneliness. Next stanza. Let him have lazy days, seeking his deeper motives. Let him seek deep for where he is born natural. Then he may understand Shakespeare and the Wright brothers, Pasteur, Pablo, Michael Faraday and free imagination. Let him have lazy days. He advises his son to have some lazy days. That lazy days may help his son to analyze about himself, to think deep about himself. What are the talents hidden inside him? What are the talents which he got in his birth? If he understands himself, then he can understand the succeeded person in life. Some of the succeeded person in life are mentioned here by the father. They are Shakespeare, Wright brothers, Pasteur, Pablo, Michael Faraday. If he understands these persons and the succeeded person, then his son can also have free imagination and he can also bring changes in this world. Shakespeare, he is the world's greatest dramatist. Wright brothers, they invented first successful motor operated airplane. Louis Pasteur, he originated the process of pasteurization. பால் பதனிடுதல், அதைதான் pasteurization சொல்லுவாங்க. Ivan Petrovich Pavlov, he is a Russian physiologist known primarily for his work in classical conditioning. Then Michael Faraday, he was an English scientist who contributed to the study of electromagnetism and electrochemistry. Bringing changes into your world, resenting changes. He will be lonely enough to have time for the work he knows as his own. If his son is lonely enough, then he can bring changes in the world like all other succeeded person. He should have time for work. He should have lonely time to think about himself, to know about himself, to know about his own talents. So that is important for his son in this life. So these are the advices given by father to his son who is reaching manhood, right?
Read the lines given below and answer the questions that follow. A. Life is hard. Be still. Be a rock. Roman letter 1. How should one face life? One should face life by being like a rock. Roman letter 2. Identify the figure of speech in the above line. See the given poem line. Life is compared to steel and rock and there is no as or like used for comparison. So the figure of speech used in the line is metaphor. Then B question. Life is a soft loam. Be gentle, go easy. And this too might serve him. Roman letter 1. Why does the poet suggest to take life easy? Life is like a fertile soil. If one is gentle and easy, he can succeed. See the poem given line, life is a soft loam. Soft loam means fertile soil. Life is like a fertile soil. If one is gentle and easy, he can succeed. Okay. Then next question, Roman letter 2. Identify the figure of speech in the above line. See the line, life is compared to a soft loam. Soft loam means fertile soil. Again, indirect comparison is made by the poet because we cannot able to see the word as or like. So, the literary device used here is metaphor. C. Tell him solitude is creative if he is strong and the final decisions are made in silent rooms. Roman letter 1. Can being in solitude help a strong human being? How? Solitude means loneliness. Okay. Yes. Being in solitude helps a strong human being to introspect and make final decision. Loneliness helps a person to analyze himself and to make a clear and final decision. தனிமையில இருக்கிறது ஒரு மனிதனுக்கு இறுதியான முடிவையும் தெளிவான முடிவையும் எடுக்கிறதுக்கு தன்னை பத்தி அனலைஸ் பண்றதுக்கும் ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுது அப்படின்னு சொல்றாங்க. Next question, Roman letter 2. Identify the figure of speech in the above line. Transferred epithet. It means epithet is a nickname or a descriptive term that is added to someone's name that becomes part of common usage. For example, in the name Alexander the Great is an epithet. Alexander the Great அப்படின்னு குறிப்பிடுறோம் இல்லையா, அதுல the great அப்படின்னு சொல்றது ஒரு epithet. அந்த அலெக்சாண்டருக்கு நிக்நேமாவோ இல்ல டிஸ்கிரிப்டிவ் ஃபார்மாவோ குறிப்பிடப்படுறதுனால அது epithet அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. So in this poem line, the figure of speech used here is transferred epithet. Then D. Tell him time as a stuff can be wasted. Tell him to be ever so often. Roman letter 1. Why does the poet suggest that time can be wasted? Time can be wasted for leisure. Next question. Identify the figure of speech in the above line. See the poem line. Tell him time as a stuff can be wasted. Tell him to be ever so often. So in both the lines you can see the same words, tell him, tell him. It is repeated in the next line also. So the figure of speech used here is repetition. Time is indirectly compared to a stuff. So metaphor also used in this line. Next E. Tell him to be a fool ever so often and to have no shame over having been a fool, yet learning something out of every folly, hoping to repeat none of the cheap follies. Question. Is it a shame to be a fool at times? No, it is not a shame to be a fool at times, but folly should not be repeated. Follies means mistake. We should not ashamed of being fool at times, but that mistakes should not be repeated. That is important, right? The next question. What does one learn from every folly? One learns some lessons from every failures. From each and every mistake, we learn some lesson. Next, F question. Free imaginations, bringing changes into a world, presenting change. Roman letter 1 question. How does free imaginations help the world? Free imagination help the world by introducing changes. Next question. Identify the figure of speech used in the given line. Answer is personification. See the poem line. Free imagination brings changes. Free imagination தான் வேர்ல்டுல சேஞ்சஸை கொண்டு வரதா சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. The figure of speech used here is personification. Right? Then G. And this might stand him for the storms. Pick out the alliterated words from the poem and write. Alliteration, words with same letter. Words begin with same letter is called alliteration. முதல் எழுத்து ஒன்றி வரக்கூடிய வார்த்தைகளை alliteration அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா? So stand and storm, both these words begins with the letter S. You have to underline the first letter to show that these two words are begin in the same letters, right?
Thank you, students. Have a happy learning.